Hello everybody, my name is Drew and welcome back to more Feed the Damn Beast. Did I curse? Oh, I'm sorry, I cursed. I'm cursing for a reason, guys. Feed the Beast indeed, the beast that is my addiction. So, I don't know whether I told you guys last episode or not, but I updated to a new version of the mod pack. The latest version, which I believe is 1.90, at least as of the filming of this episode. And, well, you can see right here, something's wrong. Something's very wrong. Our painted blocks are not rendering. More importantly, the blocks beneath them are not rendering either. And if we go along the map here, you can see that they're here, everything's there, it's just not showing for some odd reason. And I don't know why they're not rendering. It's only happening in specific spots and for specific things, namely conduits. I think it's a bug with Ender.io, but I have no idea how to fix it. And you'll see our textures are a little different. That's because I thought I would run in... there you go. See, now it's rendering right there. Are you back to rendering now? Maybe that was all I had to do. I just had to do a morph flip. No, you're still all fuckered up. Okay, there we go. So now if I grab this, I can see... Okay, there we go. So the red one is linked to what? Okay, so these were linked to the brown and stuff, which means these are linked to the other one, which is blue. Alright, so now I can go fix that. So yeah, there's a graphical rendering bug, and I can't believe that's what it was that was taking me forever to figure out. Okay, will it let me... Blue. There we go. Now we're back in action. Because I wondered why it was doing it. So if we go downstairs, because I was having trouble laying some cable down, because obviously I couldn't see it. Slight problem when you're trying to lay things down. Well, so let's go. We'll morph. And then we'll morph again. And whoa, that's weird. No, those are still blinking in and out of existence. They're better than they were. What is wrong with you? That's weird. Their textures are all messed up. Man. Alright, whatever. As long as everything's working, I don't particularly care. But yeah, as you can see, Ender.io got a big update to its textures, and it's kind of playing funky with everything. Unfortunately. But at any rate, we can still make all this work. If you remember the end of last episode, I said we were going to be working on applied energistics for a couple of reasons. Number one, these interfaces are kind of slow. Only kind of. Relax. I'm going to change that texture pack back when I cut the video here. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but the biggest thing is our storage is kind of getting to kind of an endpoint here. We're having some trouble, and I would like to be able to automate a few basic functions. Right? Like making some of the basic shapes and things that we require. Maybe making these presses automated would be a delightful thing. I'm not quite sure how I really want to go about it, besides maybe just getting into the basics, and then maybe, depending on what kind of what time frame we're working with, we can see about actually building something for realsies. But we're going to be building a few objects today, like I said. And okay, these textures are bothering me, so I'm gonna make a quick quack. I don't know what that is. I'm going to make a quick cut in the video, and then we'll be back to take a look at a few things. And get moving on this project, because it's all about applied energistics, baby. Okay, guys, we're back, and we're going to be doing a little bit of construction here using our applied energistics interface. Now, AE2 versus 1 has a lot of upgrades in terms of functionality, and I want to say it doesn't streamline, like nothing is really new, right? So there's all sorts of things like, let's take a look at the actual mod itself, right? At Applied Energistics 2. Okay, so we can take a look here at the Applied Energistics 2 mod pack list of items, and you can see that there's a lot of items going on. Now, obviously the cabling is different. We've already talked about that. And the upgrades are different as well. Like we've got expansion cards like the redstone card, fuzzy card, gone are the days. So it used to be if I was building, say, an import bus, like let's find import bus on here. Where are you, import bus? Normally, no, right there. There we go. ME interface import bus right there. So the import bus used to come in three varieties: basic, precision, and fuzzy. Now fuzzy lets you do things like splitting stacks, funny ways, looking at damaged armor, for example, whereas precision will give you exactly what you want. If I want exactly this piece of glowstone, I can tell it that I want one glowstone right down to the item number and everything else. Same thing with conduits. I can tell it to differentiate between this conduit and that conduit. Now granted, they share different item numbers, so we're kind of okay on that, but you kind of get the idea. It's really easy to work with them, and it makes for some extremely powerful automation. Now I need to refill my mana tablet while we're talking here. And so the way it works now is instead of having multiple different interfaces or inputs outputs, you have one expander or one export and one import, and together you can then put in the expansion cards to make it do what you want, either fuzzy or precise or what have you, in order to expand their functionality. You can also expand their speed. Now every item you put onto a network, I think we've discussed these before, takes up a channel. Let's actually open the floor here really quickly. I should have a piece of cable in here. Do I not? Oh, I guess they're all downstairs, aren't they? But you guys have seen that before, where I had the cable that showed us how many channels were being used on the network at that point in time. To get around that limitation of 8 channels, we have got to make an ME controller. Before, you had to have the ME controller even to make the network. Now, not so much. You can get around it and have a basic network going, which also makes Applied Energistics much more accessible early game if you're dedicated to it enough. Let's take a look. So in order to make one of these, we're going to need a few different items. Pure Fluix crystals, which I'm pretty sure we've got, some Skystone, and an engineering processor. Ooh, we don't have any engineering processors, do we? Do I have any let's see if we have we have a bunch. Okay, so we can take these. Let's dump things we don't need out of our inventory. Like all that and those. You can say, I don't know why I have a creeper head. Spider, I can go in there as well. Now, I believe I've also mentioned this earlier on as well, but when you're starting out doing your AE system, don't rush towards getting 64 kilobyte storage drives. You don't need them. I'll guarantee you don't need them. In fact, realistically, all you need, unless you're going super compact with not a lot of items, is max 16K. Even 4Ks will... Oh, that just yelled at me really loudly. Herp-a-derp. Thanks, game. Thanks, Windows, for ruining that. Like I was saying, you really, really don't need anything super intense, right? More than likely, we're doing what we're doing, which is storing many different things in small amounts, which is better suited to a 4K or even a 16K. 16Ks don't take too much to get. As you can see, we've got several of them now, and quite frankly, it's easier to work with those than it is anything else, because they will still hold quite a lot when you do fill them up. Especially when you get to mining, and you can see we've got like 53,000 basalt. Oh, excuse me. I didn't get to my mute button in time. Sorry, guys. So, we've got our 64 printed engineering circuit. So we're going to come over here to our inscriber press, and we're going to toss the engineering circuits. Actually, we'll toss them here. So we know that they need to go, but we also need some silicon, which we do have a stack of, and we're also going to need some redstone, which I really did not need to do that, but whatever. So we can tell this guy to do its funky thing. Okay, will you not do that? Hold on, we're going to bring you to my inventory really quick. So if I put that there, and then can I not make you do things? Oh no, because I need to inscribe those first, don't I? I'm an idiot. How many actual silicon do we have? 2. We have 2. That's unfortunate. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make one. Actually, we'll make both of them to start. And then I'm going to make a whole stack of silicone chips. I had to sneeze again. Okay, so we got one. And two. Okay. Now I'm going to leave this silicone here to percolate itself into plates. So we've got our two, and now we can make one of these controllers. Correct? Correct. So, ME controllers, it's still going to be a multi-block structure. But rather than making something like, so if everybody remembers Feed the Beast Season 1, or even, say, Crash Landing or Agrarian Skies, ME controllers were just this, a block. One little block really didn't do a hell of a whole lot, other than act as a pseudo-brain for the network. Well, these kind of act the same way, except they're even dumber. There's no interface or anything. You can see it just kind of sits here. But the minute I connect it to a network and have power going to it, it starts to light up. And now all of a sudden it's a controller. And you can see right there it contains 16,000 RF. We actually are going to maneuver this guy away. Ooh, okay, come back here, you. We're going to maneuver him away from there. And we're actually going to come over here in the middle of the room-ish. What do we got? We got two on either side of us here. Yeah, that's good. 2 and 2 would be, I guess, sort of here. I guess it's really not even, is it? It's kind of an odd-shaped room. Oh, that's okay. And this looks like kind of the middle. So we're just going to drop him into the floor here for giggles. So he's going to sit there on the floor, and we can actually make another one of these. It's probably a smarter idea. We'll have 2 of them. And you don't really need 2. I'm just kind of making things to make it kind of look even, because I'm slightly OCD like that. So we wanted 2. Now we got 2. So these guys are going to sit here and just kind of hang out, and realistically they're not doing much at this point in time. And actually they do nothing for us sitting in the floor, because right now you have to connect to their side. They expand your ability to handle I/O greatly. Greatly. Let's make we're going to need to make some cabling real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. So the basic smart cable, if we take a look, our basic smart cable is this stuff right here, which I need. Fluke's smart cable, which I don't think I have any covered cable. Do I? Hold on. Okay, good. I can make 64. And then I make a covered cable like that. And then I make a smart cable like this. So if everybody remembers how the smart cable works, if I just go ahead and were to say that, it'll tell us how many channels we've currently used, which we can see at this point in time right here, we have 2 channels used. If I go downstairs, you'll see that it's a slightly different story. Let's go right here. Now, where was that? Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Go where I tell you to. There we go. So now we can see that we actually have 4. Like, we have the same amount of channels displayed here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels, right? It's going to light up with the, I guess, the lighter one, the darker ones first, and then the lighter ones in between, for a total of 8 channels, right? So you see the dark light, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right now we have 5 or 6, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 channels in use. Now, I wonder what happens if I go upstairs. Because that was not... Did that actually have the same thing lit up? Okay, yeah, it did. Okay, good. So you can see 6 channels there. So we've used 6 channels of our network. What the interfaces allow us to do, or what the controllers allow us to do, is expand our capabilities significantly, because each side opens up the realm of possibilities. So if I were to connect this right there, we got nothing going on. But we knew that already. Did I lose that cable? Evidently I lost that cable. That's unfortunate. I needed that. So if I want to make more smart cable, there's also dense smart cable. A dense cable, I guess it is. Just straight up dense. And that carries up to 32 channels per go of it. So we're going to need Fluix cable covered like that, and we'll grab a dense cable. And now if I throw it on here, you'll see with the difference here. And it does not connect. Why, you know. Oh, there it is. So you can see right there, it has up to 32 channels. Right now it's only showing 8 because the maximum we can currently have on this network is, you guessed it, 8. But when we connect this to our guys over here, let's go like this. And I should probably get some different stuff here. Hold on. Let's break it like that. We'll just do it this way. Because I'm kind of a jerk like that. We'll just break everything. I need some more cable. So now if I click, you'll see the interface is kind of different. It's a little bit wider than they was on the 8 channel. And then I can even reduce this down to 8 channels should I desire it. We'll go like that. We'll make 14 more of them. Because they're not exactly resource light. But if I come through here with them, like this, you'll see 1 channel, and there you go. It should be connected. There you go. So right now, right from here, we're only using what appears to be 1 singular channel. But you can see all the way over here, it's telling us, no, we're actually using all those channels. And so on and so forth. Like, it will actually, like, tell us how many channels per side we're using. I think it's, like, up to 8 channels per side, or something like that. So we can now see that these guys are connected. I could even go so far as to connect things to other sides. And if we didn't want to get too crazy, you can see that right now, into this one, we're not using any channels. And so on and so forth. So we could actually paint these and do different crazy things. But this allows us now to expand our network and say add, oh, I don't know, interfaces, which we will be taking a look at in just a moment. So let's go like this. We'll turn back into moi. And let's take a quick look at how we work with interfaces. So unlike the original Feed the Beast, you can see that there's really no crafting terminal right now because I haven't got anything set up to craft. If we go back to at Applied Energistics, we can see that, let's take a look. Hold on. At Applied. So if we take a look at Applied Energistics, we can see that there's a whole different array of things. The base thing being the different terminals. So we also have the crafting terminal, which we're using, the storage terminal, which we already knew about, or rather the interface terminal, and then ME terminal, interface terminal. That's what I wanted. So the interface terminal, which we can't actually build yet, because I need some other things. Let's make ourselves an interface. Quick time. And we'll make ourselves an interface. Oops. Inter. T does apparently my T key. There we go. Interface terminal. And hey, why do you not work? That's odd. Oh, because I actually don't have any of those. Okay, so let's go quickly make a couple of those things. And do bear with me, because this is going to be a fairly temporary setup for our actual ME controller system. I'm still learning the system my own self. It's actually not as intuitive as the original, because the original, it was just build things and go. Have fun, don't break anything. This one actually takes a little bit more kind of planning, at least as far as what I can tell. So if I pull this guy off, so you can see right now we'll break this, and I'm going to say, let's go ahead. Oh, we need some cable. Do I have regular cable on you? Yeah, ME glass cable. Cable. So we can take a look. I'm going to just make a regular old smart cable here. Smart cable. Yeah, there you go. So we'll toss that smart cable there. It's connected, blah, blah, blah. It should be good. Nothing's connected. So you can see it's connected to 1 there. And the network is relatively intelligent too. So I don't know where that's going to take up a slot though. Oh, it looks like it's taking it up on this network now. That's fine. We do have a lot of things going into like one section here. The one way around this is we could actually put some cable standoffs so that they don't join, and then run the stuff that's downstairs onto here. And the good news is they'd still work, or at least I think they still work. We'll find out as we go along. So if I click on this right now, you'll see that we have nothing in our interface terminal because we've got nothing set up to import or export on it. One of the other terminals that we are going to need, let's see, so we got that, is the pattern terminal, and I think that was it. We got the crafting, we have an interface terminal. I guess just the pattern terminal. So we'll go ahead and make a pattern terminal out of a crafting terminal. So let's make an ME terminal real quick by making a couple formation cores and a couple of annihilation cores. See, this is one of the things that we're going to have the system automate for us, because I really don't want to do that by hand. Don't know about you. Excuse me? I guess. Illuminated panel. There you go. Okay, so crafting terminal. And now does one more? Yeah, there you go. Oh, pattern terminal. Oh my god. There you go. Now I can build a pattern terminal. Sorry, pattern terminal. Yes. Okay, so the pattern terminal will go over here. We'll throw another. That's a dense cable. Let's go smart cable. Oops, wrong one. And there we go. Now, if I really wanted to, I could actually throw a controller right there on the wall to connect these directly to, and then we'd be kind of okay in terms of connection. So you can see right now, those two are going in there, they're going in there, and then they'll join up with the other signals and make our way down. And you can see where those signals come from, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8 downstairs or whatever. And this is just for doing some other work here. It used to be that with patterns, you had to have a pattern maker. You would input the pattern. It was a separate machine, didn't actually need to be connected to the network, etc., etc., etc. Kind of irrelevant, but you kind of get where I'm coming from. With this, it integrates it directly in. And then once we have something connected via a pattern, then we can make some magic happen with it. So we can actually try that out if I really wanted to. And we can go down here and we can see, oh look, it's actually quite full down there. If I was a smart man, what I would do is I would actually, I would break that first of all. Thank you. And we could say, hey, I want you to bridge out and connect to that, just so I could get more things connected. And if it was, I'm sure now that we're full, if I go to connect another device, it'll start branching into this one. This is where those cable standoffs come in real handy, because you can start doing complicated stuff with your network. And like I said, this is not how I want to keep the actual final layout of this. In actual fact, we're going to be putting our main ME brain into this hole here. And it's a unique 5x5 design. I haven't really finalized how I want to build it. It's based off another design I found on Reddit. But we'll probably build that next episode then. But this will be where it goes. And then obviously we can connect into it. And then we can even go so far as we can put, because we'll lose all these inscribers. What we'll do is we can put extra ME drives along this wall, just connected via some cabling. That'll go into its own controller interface and then report back to those. That way we can have a shite ton of storage. And so long as it's all on the same network color, right, because we can color them, everything stays, kind of hunky-dory and nobody has a bad day. Let's take a look. So we've got that going. But yeah, the biggest thing is automating all of this. And of course, because these are multi-partable, we can all cover this up and make it look fancy when we're finished, which is a super nice feature. Thank you very much. But yeah, you know what? I think this is going to do it for us today. Just getting into the more advanced aspects of applied energistics. Like I said, well, actually, one thing before we go, I will show you a pattern. So if I want to make a pattern, let's make a blank pattern real quick. Not black, blank. So if we say blank pattern, I need to make one of these bad boys right here. So let's go ahead, make a blank pattern, and we can even teach it to make blank patterns, believe it or not. So if I take this blank pattern and I put it here, we can tell it that I want to be able to make something. So we're going to sort by item of number of items. So maybe I'm going to tell it I want to be able to make wood. So if I put a log in there and say wood and go encode pattern, this pattern now says no matter where I put it, I'm able to make wood from oak just by going in here. But that's not quite that simple because we've got no way of actually making it yet. What we do is we need to make a, let's go back to apply because I don't know what it's called anymore. I think it's just called the molecular assembler. Now, let me see here. Be the last thing we do today. Ah, there we are, molecular assembler. Pretty easy to make these actually, to be perfectly frank. You need a crafting table. And if you remember before, the molecular assembler chamber was way bigger. That was the multi-block structure of this mod pack, and now it's kind of not. Anyway, we're going to go down here. We're going to make an interface real quick as well. And I'll show you how this works. Interface. So we're going to want one of these ones right here, which is just made from one of those. So we're going to need to make I need formation in annihilation. Okay. Doop. And doop. Those. Ooh, we're ahead of those now. What was that? What am I missing? Ah, Fluke's dust, of course. That makes logical sense. Interface. Clear. There we go. Okay, so we got that. We've got some dense cable down there already. So if I go down here beside our dense cable and go, let's throw this interface right here. And then I grab our molecular assembler core. Okay, will let me put it down or no? Oh, because that was facing the wrong way. I need you. Hold on. So we'll grab that guy back real quick and go like this. So that's connected there, but it's really not doing anything. So we're going to have to go like this for the interface, and then I guess we'll just drop another. Oh, I guess I can't do dense cable, can I? I need a regular cable. Let's go ahead and grab. Oops. Grab a piece of smart cable again. One last time. I honestly need to make this stuff in bulk, I swear to God. Okay, so we're going to go in here, and we'll put our smart cable down like that. Now our interface is connected, and you can see it's taking up the extra channel, and it's going to be going where it needs to. These are just smart cables. It only registers 8. We would need to change these to dense cables in order to see the real difference, so why don't I do that? And it takes a second to connect everything up to the core. There you go. So there's your dense cable working. Everything's all connected and happy. I can go over here and I can say, I want you to have the encoded pattern right there of wood. So if I go into this hole in the ground, over here, in theory, if I've done this right, craftable. If I want to craft 100 of them, boom, crafting, to craft, available. It'll now craft. Now, the problem is, I don't just use a molecular assembler. I also need a crafting CPU, which we haven't built. We'll get into that next episode, because now we're getting into the auto crafting aspect of this mod pack, of this mod. But this is how the new the new auto crafting works, right? So we're gonna have these things. We'll talk about it more next episode as we get into the actual advance. I just wanted to show off kind of the basic things you can do. Obviously, if we had a crafting CPU stuff down here, we could auto craft, but at any rate, this is going to do it for me for today, guys. As usual, if you liked the episode, you guys know what to do. You guys can go ahead and click that old like button for me. As always, you can find other work I've done in the description box below. And of course, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.